I'll read Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, and a time to tear and a time to sue, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace.
Alafu nitasoma tena Isaya 45:19. The first part ni realizing the seasons in life as well as in everything else. It was 2018, just finished university. So the dreams za kutoka chuo, kupata kazi, kufanya nini, they were there. And then nothing was happening. I was frustrated and I didn't know, like, okay, so what am I going to do next? My friends wanapata kazi. Everything I'm trying to do is not working. I don't have a place to turn to, you know. To understand Mhubiri 3 haikuwa rahisi kwa sababu ni verses ambazo I've been hearing most of my life. Hii ni mistari maarufu sana. Hakuna mahali haijai kuhubiriwa. Lakini the word of God has to do something with you ili uweze kuigrasp, ili uweze kukaa na wewe. And that was it. Unajua mtaani they will tell you huwezi kupata kazi bila connections. Huwezi kupata kazi without knowing people or having a certain background or whatever. They will tell you a lot of things. And I tried all of that. Kwa hiyo to me, going back to Mhubiri chapter 3 was that time to get to understand in my own life kwamba there is time for everything. And that was my season of whatever was happening, you know. Mhubiri explained it very well kwamba kuna muda wa kila kitu. Na ameelezea, by the way, Solomon he was like a poet or something. Yeah. The way ambavyo anaelezea anakupa the bad side, anakupa na the good side. Kuna muda wa kutupa, kuna muda wa kukusanya, kuna muda wa kuweka, kuna muda wa kupoteza, kuna muda wa kucheka, muda wa kulia. That's how life works. So to understand kwamba huu ni muda wa kulia, sio wa kucheka, is not that easy. When I got to a point ambayo I couldn't figure anything out, I said, okay, Mungu, now I'm done. Kuna this joke wanasemaga, Jesus take the wheel. Like, this is no longer me. Yeah. And then when I got to that point, I went back home. And I knew it, kwamba nikirudi nyumbani, I'll be disappointing everyone. And it's like, ukiamua kumrudia Mungu, ukiamua kumpa Mungu nafasi yake, vitu vinaanza kufall into places. Ndio, that brought me to Isaiah 45:19. Ambao anasema,
Isaiah 45:19, I did not speak in secret in a land of darkness. I did not say to the offspring of Jacob, seek me in vain. The Lord speak the truth. I declare what is right.
Hakuna ahadi ambayo mimi nimeweka in vain. I didn't say anything in vain. You go back to the Bible, every story you hear ambayo ina involve mtu kuendure time and getting success baadaye, Abraham, Jacob, everyone. You notice kwamba Mungu aliwaambia kitu and they had to be patient, wait, and ikatokea. So hapa anatukumbusha kwamba hivyo vitu vyote ambavyo amewahi kuahidi, ambavyo of course promises zote zipo kwenye Biblia, hakuna hata moja ambayo ameifanya bure, ameahidi bure, zitatokea. So it's up to us to realize kwamba this is not the time and leave it up to him until the time comes, you know. I stopped applying, I stopped calling people, I stopped everything. I said okay, so okay, mimi si mwana wa Mungu. Mungu amenipa ahadi zote and everything. Then why am I struggling? When the time is due, atafanya. Sio? So just one afternoon, niko tu nyumbani, sina anything. Nyumbani kwetu kuna issue ya mtandao, so simu you have to place it somewhere and uweke sauti ili uisikie, you know. So nipo naendelea na shughuli zangu and I hear the phone inaita. So I went and picked up the phone and somebody on the other side of the phone is just asking me, unataka kazi?
Just like that.
Just like that. And I'm like, yeah, nataka kazi. Can you go sehemu fulani? Akaniambia, yes, I can. I mean, why would I say no? Akaniambia, okay. So it was Thursday. Akaniambia, here's the number, call the person, umuulize details. Thursday, I was supposed to be reporting to the place Sunday. Kwa hiyo Thursday, Friday ni safiri, Saturday, Jumapili niwepo eneo la kazi. I never called huyo mtu. I never asked for work kwa huyo mtu. Alinipigia tu akaniambia mimi nimepewa kazi lakini sioni kama nitaweza kwenda kuifanya. So I think kama you can go and do it, just go. And that was it. And I was like, why was I struggling all that time? And through that I understood kwamba anything happening in life, anything, mimi siku hizi vitu havinisumbui vikitokea. Sababu I'm like, okay, it happened because it was time. Mimi kazi yangu ni kuelewa kwamba it's time and wait for the next time. Kuelewa kwamba huu ni muda wa kulia, nisubirie muda wa kucheka. They say live in the present. They just don't tell you kwamba what the present looks like.
True.
Yani you ukiambiwa live in the present and the present means it's a gift and all that, your mind thinks kwamba it's all the good things. It's not. The present is the present. It's time to cry, you embrace it. It's time to smile, you embrace it. It's time to be successful, you embrace it. It's time to be disappointed, you embrace it and take the lessons.
You know, your story, it has brought me back to look at my life and where I came from.
Yeah.
2004, I came to Dar es Salaam. And my parents were here, not for long, they'd been here for a year. And so we don't know anyone. We don't know anyone. I just finished Form 5 and 6 and came to Dar es Salaam to join my parents.
Yeah.
My Form 6 results came out. They were not good. So here I am in Dar es Salaam. I know no one. No one, like literally, I've never gone to school in Tanzania. And somehow the neighbor we used to live with said, no, I went to Jumuiya this morning and there's a woman who has a preschool. So can we take you there? You can teach kids, right? Yeah. So I went to teach preschool. This is somebody I don't know, I've never met. So that was my first time to Kinondoni. So I go to Kinondoni, work in this preschool. But the owner of the preschool, I've never met to date.
Oh, wow.
But what she told her mother is that this girl who's working here, she does not deserve to be here. December 2004, I get a call. Gloria, you're supposed to go to Gongo La Mboto, there's an interview because next year we will not be accepting you at the preschool. I get to the job, the new job. I find the boss, he's like, you're not going to be interviewed by us here in Tanzania, you're being interviewed by somebody in Geneva.
Oh, wow. Did you even know where Geneva was to start with?
On the map. So I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Do you have a CV? From where? I'm from Kariakor, just the way you see me. And he's like, okay, I'll create the CV for you. He's on his laptop, he created my
Destiny
first
helpers.
CV. Okay. So I'm told to come back to work on 2nd of January. So what's the salary? I'm like, my dreams were 100K, right?
Yeah.
So what do I say? I tell him, do I say 150? He's like, no, you can start at 300. Talk to them and tell them 300. So I say 300. And they're like, we cannot give you 300, we'll give you 500. Millionaire me.
Oh, wow.
500. From 50, eh? It
From
was 50.
50.
That's 10 times.
Oh, if that is not God, who did I know? What
Tenfolds,
connection
eh?
did I have? Tenfolds.
Tenfold.
Like he says.
So God is present and very active.
Yeah, yeah.
Just recognize his presence.
Oh, wow. He's a beautiful God.
Yeah.
But let me tell you my testimony. Early 2000s. Nilipita a very rough patch in my life. Yani everything was everywhere. Nikisema everything was everywhere. It's like unatoka msitu huu unakutana na shrub. And because umetoka kwenye msitu, you are still confused. You go to another shrub. Unakaa pale kwenye shrub, ukimaliza kwenye shrub. Just when you're about to move, something else happened. And I had a lot of hard time. Yani nilipata shida kweli. I remember at one time I didn't have a house. And I had to move. I had a very big house. All of a sudden, because I moved to this big house, nikijua kwamba I'll be able to pay the rent. Na kweli, I was able to pay, I think, the rent kama mwaka mzima. Lakini baada ya ule mwaka vitu vika shift. And I'm like, how am I going to survive this? So I had to move from that house. Nakumbuka ilikuwa somewhere in Makonde, some flats, very beautiful flats. You know, a compound. It was just beautiful, gated community. Walikuwa like probably 20 people. And so it was just interesting setup. And not very far from shule where my children would go. And so I remember how difficult it was for me. Mpaka to a point I had to borrow money. And that person akasema, no, hatuwezi kukopesha hela kama you do not have wanaita nini ile collateral. Kwa hivyo I took my car. And I remember one day meeting rafiki yangu. Akaniuliza, how is it that you're walking? Na anajua mimi na gari. Kumbe I had taken the car kule. Eventually I moved from that house to a smaller house somewhere ambao ilikuwa hata haina gate. It was a very difficult time. And I remember one day I was supposed to go somewhere kupeleka mzigo around 5 o'clock. So, unalala asubuhi, you still have that kausingizi, and then you're like, I'll wake up in the next 15 minutes. Bado unakale kausingizi, nikarudi kulala. And I hear the voice. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. I was sure in my head. First nikafikiria, I was like, this must be a dream. But then again, nikakumbuka huo mstari upo sehemu kwenye Biblia. Anyway, I woke up. Lakini I was sure God spoke to me. I was so sure. Lakini ipo sehemu gani? It is a truth, yes. It is in the word. Lakini where is it? And I didn't know. Anyway, I went to church. Nikiwa kanisani, I have this friend of mine ambaye by that time alikuwa so much into reading the word. Alikuwa amesoma the word for a long time. I texted her, nipo kanisani nikamuuliza, hii mistari iko wapi, sehemu gani kwenye Biblia? And that is when she referred me to Psalms 23, 6, verse 6. Huo mstari ni mstari ambao nimekuwa nikiishi nao all my life. And I tell you, even when things are thick, because I've seen thickness, still God comes through. I still remember. And I still remember his words, and his grace is constantly upon me. So his word is true. And so I walk. As much as I'm walking in the human bit of me, matatizo nayapata kweli kweli. Na yananikongoria kweli kweli. Yani it really gets on me. But all said and done, he still reminds me, Stella, remember what I told you. my grace is upon you.
Yeah.